Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Philip Port. I've been an immigration advisor for more than 20 years, and today we're going to speak about rip-off London and cheap Moscow. We're going to do a price comparison between the two major cities. I'll also include a bit about the rest of Russia compared to Moscow in this video. Now let's take the metro system, or what you call in England the underground. Let's take that. You can pay for all zones in London up to about £5,000 or £6,000 per year. We don't have zoning in Moscow. You can get on and off wherever you want and you'll still be charged the same fee, whether you do one station or two stops, or whether you go from one end of Moscow to the other end of Moscow, which might take you an hour and a half and an hour and 45 minutes. The Moscow Underground is huge, very efficient and very, very fast. It is absolutely amazing. And I paid last year £220 for a yearly card. This year I will pay about £235, £240. That will be the maximum I pay this year, and that gives me daily unlimited use on the metro, bus and trams for 1 year. Trains, compared to London, divided by about 8 or 9. Admittedly, the trains in London are much more faster. I admit that. The trains run at about 50 miles an hour here, maybe 45 miles an hour. They're not very fast. But when you're traveling, say, 200 miles, that ticket might be £4 or £5 compared to £40 for the same distance in England. So trains are not included in your metro card, but they're still very, very cheap. Let's look at taxis. In Moscow, off-peak, you can pay for a free 4-kilometer ride, you can pay 200 rubles. That's about £2. In London, you could pay £10 quite easily, very easily. Now, if I'm going in peak time, let's say I'm going in the morning and it's rush hour, then I expect to pay about £4, about 400 rubles in Moscow for a taxi. They're still very, very cheap, very, very good. If I go outside of Moscow to a town like Perm, where I'm based at the moment, I'm living in Perm. If I go to somewhere like that, I can pay for a free 4-kilometer trip, I can pay 80, 90 rubles. And if I go in the morning, rush hour, not more than 200 rubles. And that can be a 20, 25-minute journey. And I'm only paying £2. So taxis are very, very affordable in Russia compared to London. I mean, if I take a taxi to the airport, I'm always paying £60, £70. That's 6,000-7,000 rubles. I've never paid more than 1,200-1,300 rubles, which is about £1, about £13 in Moscow. And outside of Moscow, again in Perm, I go to the airport and I'm normally spending about 400 rubles, which is about £4 for a 30-minute journey. So taxis are very, very cheap. Rents compared to London, about 70% cheaper. So if you take Moscow rents, I was renting for £400 a month, a 60 square meter flat. It was, we call them 2 rooms, you would call it a 1-bedroom with lounge in London. In Russia it was a 2-room flat. And I was paying £400 a month. Okay, admittedly, it was a good deal. Expect to pay closer to the centre about £600 a month. Like for like, in London, you're looking at about, about £1,300, £1,400 to £1,800 in central London minimum. It's very, very expensive rents. Electricity, I pay £3 a month and I use it heavily. When I was in London, I was paying £80 a month, and that was 15 years ago, 16 years ago. I've been a long time in Russia. Water, your water rates, you're spending about, I don't know what, £800-900 a year. Here, it is included in one fixed bill with your water, your heating, your service charge. It's all one, and I pay £50 a month. The only thing I pay separate for is my electricity, which is very, very cheap, which I just spoke about now. So you look at the water in England. Here in Russia or Moscow, I get hot water for that included. I get full heating for £50 a month. I recently had a problem with my toilet. The guy came and fixed it kind of for free. He charged me 800 rubles, but he had to go to the market and buy a part. Just a call-out charge for a plumber in England can be £80, £100, £120 quite easy. Same with electricians. So once you move into a block of flats, which in Moscow most of them are, everybody contributes in their service charge to the maintenance people who come and fix everything. Food is about the same price as England, same price as Europe, same price as America. I'd say it's slightly cheaper in Moscow, only very, very slightly, but a lot of it is organic. They're buying cheap produce, organic produce from Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan. They produce a lot of food in Russia now, and it is very nutritious. When you eat their food, you can taste the vitamins. I would say Moscow has the best organic markets I've ever been to. Really, really good food, really good fruit and vegetables, sorry. Everything else, your meats and every other products, a little bit more expensive in England, but things like mayonnaise is a lot cheaper in Russia. So let's go on to the business side. Let's say you come here and you set up a business. Your taxes are next to nothing. Taxes are really, really low. I'm on simplified taxation where I pay 4% of turnover. I'm allowed to earn up to £300,000 a year. Sorry, let me correct myself. If I go over a certain level, it goes up to 6%. So I'm paying between 4 and 6%, and then up to 30 million rubles, which is £300,000. The maximum I'll pay is 13%. But at the moment, I don't go over that threshold, so I'm still paying between 4% if I invoice an individual and 6% if I invoice a company. So I'm paying between 4 and 6% taxes. I don't have all this insurance bonding, all these license fees like you would do if you wanted to practice law, or you wanted to be an immigration advisor, or you wanted to be a travel agent. They don't have all these additional crazy expensive fees. Restaurants, very, very affordable. I go to a restaurant in Moscow, I can get a nice three-course business lunch. Between £3 and £5. So if I want a little bit more expensive, I pay the £5. If I want something cheap and cheerful, I pay the £3. But I'm getting a main course for that. I'm getting a starter. I might get a salad, and I might get a small dessert with a tea or a coffee or a soft drink. So they have a business lunch. I never, when I go out and eat in a restaurant, because we have what we call like your Groupons, your Big Leons, all these coupons, I'm eating in good restaurants for 50% discount. So they're very, very popular in Moscow. So you can always find a good restaurant on coupon, and it means you can eat out for 2 people for about £13 or £14 in quite a decent restaurant in Moscow. Entertainment. Bolshoi Theatre is very expensive. That they cater more for the tourists, I guess. It's quite they're comparable to British prices for sure when you go to the theatre. But other theatres, you can spend about £8 or £9 if you understand Russian. Shows are very cheap. If you go to the English cinema, I'm spending £4 in the English cinema where they only show British movies. So it's entertainment is very affordable. I take my son every evening to a play group. He can climb, he can jump, and I'm spending between £4 and £5, and I can join for free. The cheapest you can get in England for that is maybe £12 or maybe £15, and the parents have to pay as well, maybe £3 or £4 to join their children. So entertainment for kids is very cheap as well. Childcare is... if you want to go private, you can easily find in Moscow a good kindergarten or playgroup up until the age of 7, because after 7 it's all free, you can easily pay £350, £400 a month quite comfortably. But what I do is I just put my son in the free kindergarten, the government kindergarten, and I just pay about £1.20 a day for his food. That's all I pay, and the rest is free. And because it's government funded, often they're better than the private ones. They don't have that need to make a profit. So childcare is beautiful here. Let's talk about healthcare. When I went into the doctors here, straight away, check my liver, check my heart, check my blood. They checked everything. I never expected that. Same with my son. When he was born, he's 3.5 years now, we had to do 100 tests on him. They found out that he had a little millimeter bigger on his hip, and he was a little bit deficient in too many red blood cells or something like that, and they give him a little bit of medicine. But the child care is fantastic. When I went in Russia, when I went to the doctors here, and I said, look, can you give me a checkup? Totally free. They tested everything. And I was very impressed. I didn't expect that. When I was in London, they wouldn't check anything. I'm going to look, I drink a lot of beer. Can you check my liver? No, you seem okay. They refused to give me a health checkup. Now, admittedly, if I was diagnosed with cancer, Britain is very good. No complaints. I admit that. God forbid if I am ever diagnosed with cancer. That type of care is obviously very good. Accident and emergency is very, very good in the UK as well. Extremely good. If you're in a car crash or you're in an accident and you need emergency services, I think they're the best in the world in the United Kingdom. I can't advise how good they are in Russia because I've never had to use them, but I see them everywhere. I see ambulances everywhere. When we called them, when my girlfriend, wife, was giving birth, they came very quickly. They were very efficient. I was very impressed. So I think accidents and emergency services are very good. Let's take crime. In your major cities in Russia, like Moscow, St. Petersburg, I'm living in Perm at the moment, as I said earlier. I often in Moscow, I've spent many years living in Moscow, so I know the prices there. I lived there for a long time. In Perm, no crime at all. Whereas I'm watching the news, the British news, and I'm seeing crime all the time in England. I see a lot of problems in England. Crime doesn't exist in Russia, in Moscow, on a comparison to England or the United Kingdom. It is very safe. So don't believe the myths. Oh, it's very dangerous. You know, there's a lot of propaganda for the World Cup. It's very dangerous. Don't go. I've been living here on and off for more than 20 years, doing my immigration services and my British visas for Russians, and I haven't seen any crime, violent crime or burglaries or things like that. I haven't even heard of it. So, but I see it on the news all the time in the UK, and I think it's getting worse and worse and worse, especially when we've got the immigration problem with refugees and things like that. Obviously, they're struggling to provide and support themselves, and maybe they have to turn to crime. I don't know the reason why crime is getting so bad in the UK, but it doesn't exist in most of Russia. Obviously, there's certain places where there's high crime rates, but I doubt you'll ever go there. Guys, I hope you like this summary. The reason why, as an immigration advisor, I'm speaking about it, so if you want to emigrate to Great Britain or you want to emigrate to Russia, you now got an understanding of the prices and things like that. Last thing, I do drink beer. I'm often drinking a pint of beer for 100 rubles in Russia. Very, very cheap. Cheers, guys. Thank you for visiting my YouTube channel. If you liked it, please subscribe. Please press the like button. Thank you very much.